Aloha and welcome back to JP26. This is your boy JP, and of course this is Studio 26. There is no football this week to go over, so it is a perfect opportunity for me to whip out.
What do you mean by that?
Break out my JP All 26 team. So without further ado,
welcome to the JPO 2016 episode. JPO 2016 episode. Here you can be a drinker and you can be a smoker. You can even be from Buffalo, and that kind of makes you a choker.
let's get right into it. What is the JPL 26 team? You might be asking yourself.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Or you might be wondering things that have nothing to do with that. I don't know. I'm not you.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
But I am going to tell you what the JPL 26 team is. What the JPL 26 team is a collection of the 26 players that I feel are most deserving. Is better than being invited to the Pro Bowl, obviously. And personally, I think it's a better list than the All-Pro list. I think that my list makes more sense.
You're just some roided out freak with a clipboard in your stupid little throat!
And the reason why I think it makes more sense is because in today's NFL, you have teams like the Seahawks, who employ 3 wide receivers out on the field a lot of the game. You have teams like the 49ers in the same division who are employing a fullback and a tight end and only 2 wide receivers on the field at the same time. So because of these different personnel groupings, it makes it a little bit hard to just say these are the single positions that we're looking for to compile the 11 on each side.
What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
So what my list
Today, Junior?
aims to do is to correct that by not only including every position, but also by correcting for maybe tweener positions or guys who maybe should have made the list, but there's a guy who's having an all-world year or whatever the case is. So that is the goal of this episode, and I'm going to go through that with you guys, and I've done enough talking.
And that's the truth, with some cheese on it. There ain't no meatloaf between these buns.
How does it work? Normal offensive line, 5 spots, right? 2 tackles, 2 guards, center. Don't give a shit if you play on the left side. Don't give a shit if you play on the right side. You play tackle, you're eligible. You play guard, you're eligible. You play center, well, that's the only center position. But you get my point.
I got the shakes that'll make you quake. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got the burgers that'll... I just got burgers.
Quarterback, running back, tight end. Boom, boom, boom. 2 wide receivers. And then you'll notice that there's an X. You might think to yourself,
oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that?
why is there an X? The reason there's an X is this is what I was talking about before. There might be a guy who plays wide receiver that deserves to make the list. There might be a guy who plays tight end who deserves to make the list. There might be another running back that deserves to make the list. Whatever the position is, there might be an extra position that deserves to make the list, but because of the fact that the best 2 wide receivers or the best tight end or the best running back or the best quarterback or the best tackle, guard, center, any of those positions, because they had such a superb year ahead of them, they weren't able to crack it above them. So that is why the X position exists.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Same for defense. We have 2 interior defensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, 2 corners, 2 safeties, two inside linebackers, and an X.
All my exes live in Texas.
Once again, X can be any of those positions. Whoever deserves it most from any of those positions that are left on the board, according to my opinion. So that is the 11 on defense and 11 on offense. And of course, we have a kicker, punter, kick returner, and punt returner.
Of course.
To go over as well. A lot of people don't realize that kick returner and punt returner are two very different positions. Do a lot of the same things. You can do both, but there are guys who pretty much excel exclusively at kick returner and excel exclusively at punt returner. Little bit of a different skill set, but that is the 26 players that you will see on my list today. So let's get it cracking. On to number 1, the quarterback position.
Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NFL!
Of course, it is Josh Allen.
It's true. It's not true.
And yes, of course, I could have taken Lamar Jackson here because he had an outstanding year with probably better numbers slightly. You know, there is some things going on there with like fumbling with Lamar Jackson that Josh Allen didn't have the same issues with. But overall for me, it was just the fact that it came down to Josh Allen was leading his team to an unbelievable record this year. It looked like they were going to be able to get over the hump ultimately over the Chiefs. That obviously didn't happen.
Don't you just hate that song?
But that is not what this is about. We're not here to talk about what happened in the playoffs or anything else. We're talking about what these guys did in the regular season. And Josh Allen, despite not having a true number 1 alpha wide receiver, despite not having, you know, what a lot of people would consider the greatest offensive line, a good offensive line, not the greatest offensive line, the things that he's able to do to continue to put his team on his back. And even in that game versus the Chiefs, let's be honest with you, he hit that throw even though almost no other quarterback in the NFL is going to be able to scramble to make the play that he did down the field to Dalton Kincaid. His tight end doesn't hang on to it, and ultimately that is where the season ends for Josh Allen and the Bills. But he makes the JP All-26, and I'm sure that that is just important to Josh. Who's the running back going to be?
Hurts has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles and picks up the first down, jumping up in the air to the 30. A gain of 14 for Barkley.
Makes the first guy miss. The spin move at the last second. Bro. And then, what, Tiki, you're right. What is that?
Oh, come on. Everyone knew that already anyway. It's Saquon Barkley. Of course it is. What else do you guys want in a running back? The guy is all-world fast, all-world strong, shifty. Obviously, he can jump high, as we saw. He's the complete back. He's got hands out of the backfield. He's completely selfless. He will block his ass off for you. I'm not being over dramatic when I say this. I'm not being prisoner of the moment when I say this. I'm saying this as just analyzing the position.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I say this as a LaDainian Tomlinson fan. I say this as somebody that watched Adrian Peterson do what he did in the NFL for all those years. This is the most talented running back I've ever seen.
Cannonball!
The guy is unbelievable. He is so good, and the Giants not only have to be sick with themselves for what happened, but fucking A, they should be.
That is what we call a bitch slap. A bitch slap for a bitch.
Now to the 2 wide receivers. And I think everybody knows who the 2 wide receivers are going to be. but let's run it anyway.
Burrow fires, caught, chase. They try to chase him down, and they cannot. Touchdown.
Of course it's Ja'Marr Chase. Of course it is. You guys, this guy, what that play showed you right there is how special he is once he gets the ball in his hands. We can talk all day about the fact that he is fluid in his route running, about the fact that he gets in and out of his breaks as quick as anybody. We can talk about his hands. We can talk about how athletic he is, about his catch radius, how big of a catch radius he has. We can talk about all of those things when it comes to playing wide receiver for Ja'Marr Chase. But the thing that truly sets him apart is once he gets the ball in his hands. He is exceptional. Exceptional with the ball in his hands. He's like a running back, but better than running backs. You know, like it's just, he happens to be so good at wide receiver that you don't have to play him at running back. But like, if you told Ja'Marr Chase, you're never allowed to play wide receiver the rest of your career, he's immediately an all-pro running back.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Immediately. That's how good he is. So I want people to know that a little bit more about Ja'Marr Chase. I think everybody understands when they watch him, oh, he's a great wide receiver. What makes him a great wide receiver? Well, that's one of those things that makes him a great wide receiver, and I wanted to highlight that a little bit today on this episode. So Ja'Marr Chase, you're unbelievable. You make the JPL 26 team. And even though your team didn't make the playoffs, I'm sure that this is more important to you.
You acting like a real McAsshole.
Next wide receiver.
Off play action. Stepping up. Launching downfield. And it is caught! Twisting, turning, touchdown, Jefferson. Minnesota's back in front.
Oh, come on. You already knew it. Like I had to even mention it. Guys, LSU, I don't know what's in the water over there from a quarterback and wide receiver dynamic that they have going over there at LSU. But when you talk about talented receivers, we had Malik Neighbors just enter the mix, you know, as a rookie this year. But here we go with another one. Justin Jefferson continuing year after year dominance, year in and year out. Doesn't seem that anybody can stop him. Got a quarterback this year in Sam Darnold who can absolutely spin it.
You fucking crazy, man.
And I know the narrative right now is that Sam Darnold sucks and great, all of those things. Sam Darnold had one hell of a year. You guys can sit there and you can shit on him now that the playoffs have ended.
Brother,
Justin Jefferson, just year in and year out, proves that it doesn't matter the quarterback that he has, whether the guy can spin it or whether he can't spin it with the best of them. He's going to keep putting up ridiculous numbers, and that's what partly makes this guy so valuable. You can talk about, you know, all of his explosiveness and his big playability and all of those things, but it's how quick he gets in and out of his breaks, those things we were talking about with Ja'Marr Chase, how fluid he is as a route runner, how available he is for his quarterback. The guy is as professional at the wide receiver position as it gets, as technical a route runner as you're going to find in the NFL, and he can do it inside, he can do it outside, doesn't matter. He's a dangerous weapon no matter where you put him, and that is why Justin Jefferson makes my JPL 26 list. Tight end.
Pressure coming on 3rd and 10. Picked up enough to give him time to find George Kittle. Oh, amongst so many bodies, he ripped it away. Touchdown, San Francisco.
That's right, guys. I went with George Kittle. And I know a lot of you Raiders fans are wondering why I didn't pick Brock Bowers. And I'm sure there's a lot of Cardinals fans wondering why I didn't pick Trey McBride.
You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
And there's a very simple explanation for that.
This just says I can do what I want.
This guy is still the best blocking tight end in the NFL. And I don't care what anybody says about that. I know for fantasy reasons, this whole NFL world has kind of spun onto the whole offensive, you know, statistics, big numbers matter. But I'm here to tell you right now, when you have a guy who can play his position, especially in the type of offense that they run, and block as effectively as he does, that, I promise you, brings ridiculous value to the team.
Thank you.
Fucking hey, Jared.
Shut your fucking mouth.
And yes, the 49ers struggled this year and they didn't make the playoffs. But I promise you it wasn't because of this guy. It wasn't because of him. He was still blocking his ass off every time I watched him play, still doing his thing. George Kittle, until further notice, is the best tight end in the end. George Kittle, until further notice, is still the best tight end in the NFL to me. Brock Bowers certainly on his heels. Trey McBride certainly on his heels. And Father Time is undefeated, so I'm sure that that torch will be passed at some point. But that point ain't today.
Get a now nothing. Now nothing. A now nothing out of there.
And if you don't think that blocking matters in lieu of statistics, go watch A.J. Brown and what he's doing for the Eagles running game right there as a wide receiver. Go watch A.J. Brown. Go see what he's doing to corners. And you're going to find out why it is that Saquon Barkley is able to make the JP All-26 team.
Oh, I don't think I'm a lot dumber than you thought that I thought I was once.
Right? It's because of those guys in front of him. So this guy right here, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that gets other players their numbers. And that's why he makes the JP All-26 team. George Kittle. Shout out, bud. I told you about that X position.
It's as good a running back as we've seen. Jackson will keep this time. And look at the speed. Lamar Jackson is gone. Touchdown. Merry Christmas.
It's Lamar Jackson. Of course it's Lamar Jackson. You can't put up a season like Lamar Jackson had and not include this guy on the list. Are you out of your mind?
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
I mean, speaking of a guy who deserves that position, X is almost a positionless position in a way, right?
Okay.
Lamar Jackson could be an all-pro running back. I guarantee you, if you let him work on the wide receiver position long enough, he could have been an all-pro wide receiver. That's how great of an athlete Lamar Jackson is. Let's not get it twisted.
Are you sure about that?
So, Lamar Jackson, of course, he had to make my list. And him and Josh Allen, there was no way that I was keeping both these guys off the list. You want to talk about a guy that completely changes the dynamic of a football team? His ability to run, everybody knows that. But it's not just that. It's his ability to run, extend plays, throw off platform, read the defense. I mean, there is no guys outside of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson from a pure physical talent standpoint that are superior to them. There just isn't. And as a defensive coordinator, when you think about all the different ways that you have to defend them from beating you, it is a complete nightmare. Now, can it be done? Obviously. Obviously, it can be done. But the guy is unreal. There's no doubt about that. He deserves to be on the JP All-26 list. He's going to get a lot of hate, as is Josh Allen, for getting bounced from the playoffs. Obviously, him by Josh Allen, and then Josh Allen ultimately by the guy everybody is chasing, Patrick Mahomes. But when you look at the regular season and you look at the numbers this guy's put up and you look at what he actually does for his football team, he's unreal. He's an unreal player.
They're not on my level.
And he's one of those guys that I think that every coach in the NFL would be happy to take as their quarterback. More than happy to take as their quarterback. And if you don't think that that's the case, then you just don't know football very well. Now, would Andy Reid trade Patrick Mahomes for Lamar Jackson? Obviously not. But if you told Andy Reid, hey, we're going to start a whole new NFL, everybody's going to be completely randomized, we're going to start you with Lamar Jackson. If you told me Andy Reid would be distraught by that, he wouldn't be. I assure you of that.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Now we got to get it over to the big boys. Let's start out at tackle. So what makes this guy so elite is that he is an extremely massive, powerful human being. But you combine that with the fact that he's got quick feet and he can run as fast as, a lot of running backs out there. That's what makes this guy so dangerous. He's a weapon on the offensive side of the ball. It isn't just that, he's out there just blocking. No, they use him like a weapon. He's out there just gashing holes open for the running backs. smashing multiple defenders out for his running backs to get through. And so that's why Penei Sewell makes the list. He is dominant to me. And for me, offensive linemen, I have to include. They have a special place in my heart because I feel they don't get the love that they deserve for how important they play a role in what happens in a football game. The national media, and that includes myself, spends a lot of time talking about quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and even defensive players before we talk about the offensive linemen. And the truth is, they probably control the games more than anybody else.
And the truth shall set you free.
So Penei Sewell, you may have gotten your heart broken in the playoffs this year, but you do make the JPL 26 team, and I'm sure that means more to you.
How about new?
Who's the other tackle going to be? Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata. A lot of people don't know about this guy. If you guys want to know something about these big special athletes that I was telling you about, just like with the last freak show that we went over, look no further than Jordan Mailata and go ahead and go on YouTube, type up Jordan Mailata rugby highlights. And enjoy, because this guy right here is an absolute freak show athletically. He could have done whatever he wanted as an athlete, any sport basically, except for fucking horse riding. And even then, he might have been able to compete as a horse. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Well, his running mate, Lane Johnson, on the other side at right tackle, and him form probably the best 1-2 punch at tackle in the league. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and call that and say that they do, in fact, have the best 1-2 punch at tackle in the league. And he is the spearhead of that because of the absolute monster and freak athlete that he is. And those coaches over there on the Eagles, that organization, they are a fantastic organization, and they have just built this guy into a monster.
Sure, we'll teach you the football, won't we, caretaker?
Yeah, I'll teach you anything. Just don't eat me.
Going from rugby over there to now playing offensive line in the NFL is a completely different set of skills. And for those coaches and that organization to get him to be the player that he is now is just a testament to that organization, because he is amazing. Amazing. So congratulations, Jordan Mailata. I would say that, sorry, but you're going to be in the Super Bowl, so enjoy.
A few moments later.
Off to the guards. Chris Lindstrom. Man, this is why I love talking about this list, guys, because these are just guys that a lot of people don't know about. How often you hear the name Chris Lindstrom? I'm telling you guys, these big boys with the quick feet, they are killer. They're killer, man. This guy gets off the ball so fast. He's able to just get right up the field and get to that second level. He can even get to that third level. I don't think that they come better at the guard position than Chris Lindstrom. When I watch this guy play, he's a coach's dream from the guard position, and I don't think that I'm the only one that thinks that. So shout out to all my other football nerds out there watching Chris Lindstrom. You are well deserving to be on this list, bud, and that is why you have made the JPL 26 team. Now, granted, your team fucking stinks, but that is not your fault, Chris. All right? It's not your fault that the Falcons stink, and hopefully now that Michael Penix is in there, you guys will start putting some things together, because the world deserves to see you pancaking motherfuckers. All right?
That's what I'm talking about. We get ours.
Cool. Who's the next guard? Give him the belly.
Get in my belly! Come on!
Quinn Miners, the belly beast.
Let me make you a deal, all right? You get the motor, you keep your money, and I'll get your baby. Right.
I watched this guy play in the AFC West, and he has been road grading a lot of the interior defenders. He's a big, strong guy. He doesn't have quite the same quick feet as the other players that I mentioned earlier, although his feet are a bit quicker than you might expect, given the belly that's on that boy.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs.
Excuse me. But what makes this guy great is he is just very powerful, and he can lean on people and move bodies. So Quinn Miners, I didn't think there was an overwhelming amount of exceptional guard play in the NFL this year. In fact, I thought a lot of guards got their ass tore up all year.
Look, fellas, we can't go out there playing the game the wrong way.
But Quinn Miners is one of the exceptions to that rule. Granted,
we should never take things for granted. What? I'm just saying, life's short. We shouldn't take things for granted. Are you saying granite? Well, yeah. It's granted with a D. Take things for granted. Did you actually think it was... Jesus Christ, Rick? What are you, a boulder rock person? How long have you been saying that wrong? Oh, you like that, huh? I bet that really blows your mind. I mean, yeah, it's kind of great. You want me to erase it? What? You can do that? Oh,
Sean Payton has obviously brought a new life to this organization. And, Bo Nix and Sean Payton have gotten some hate for the way the season ended to the Bills. But once again, I cannot reiterate enough how you can make the playoffs in the division that they play in, as many quarterbacks as there are in the AFC, and without $40 million to play with, and they still make the playoffs. Very impressive from Sean Payton. And Sean Payton is a guy who's always been known to get the most out of his guards. Even back when he was with the Saints, he had Jari Evans and Carl Nix, and those guys were all pros, I believe, both of them at one point on the same team. So Quinn Miners obviously getting coached up by those Broncos coaches and Sean Payton. He has been excellent all year long, and that is why the Billy makes the JPL 26 team.
And I'll have the number 8. That's a party platter. It serves 12 people. I know what I'm about, son.
And who's the center going to be for the JPL 26 team? You gotta go with Creed. You gotta go with Creed Humphrey. Listen, guys, I don't like seeing the Chiefs win as much as anybody else, but I gotta give credit where credit is due.
Fuck! Fuck.
He is smart, he's quick, he's strong, and he's tough as they come, man. He is as tough as they come. And not to mention, it doesn't matter what position you ask this guy to play. Wherever the team needs him to play, he'll just go there. Andy Reid has talked about it. You send this guy out there, and he's going to play wherever you need him to play. Wherever is best for the team, he's going to play there. And that's why he has to make the list for me. I know that there are other guys that could be, deserving of it with Frank Ragnow and players like that, but for me, Creed Humphrey is such an unbelievable player at the center position. The crazy part for me is everybody kind of knew it coming out of the draft, and because he plays the center position, teams still let him fall to the Chiefs, which to me I don't really get, because if you know you're getting a really good football player, you should take them over just a value position. That's just what I think, and Creed Humphrey has once again made the Chiefs look like geniuses for drafting him, because he is, to me, the best center in the NFL, and that is why he is on my list.
Show some damned respect.
But that'll do it for the offense. So it is time to move it on over to the defense. Starting out with the edge rushers.
High-scoring affair. Burrow steps up. Oh, didn't see the defender. The ball is free. The Steelers pick it up, and they've got it. T.J. Watt knocks it away.
T.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt. Little J.J. Watt. That's what we used to call him. You should meet his brother, T.J. He's the man. But J.J.? J.J. was the crybaby. What are you doing here, crybaby? We don't sell tissues.
Of course it's T.J. Watt, man. This guy is unbelievable. The intensity he plays with, the amount he goes after the football, the amount of havoc he caused. If you just look there, 6 forced fumbles. That's so crazy. That's affecting turnovers at least in a third of the games, not to mention the other pressures he puts on to cause interceptions.
Wow. He is the one.
The reason why TJ Watt has to be on the list, just besides the numbers, is if you watch the game at all, you just watch the Steelers play football, the guy flashes all over the screen. He's everywhere, constantly timing snaps, constantly getting in the backfield, constantly disrupting plays, getting into running lanes, getting his hands on the football, stripping the ball. He just complete havoc from the edge position is TJ Watt, and that is why he has to make my list as the edge rusher for the JPL 26 team. So congratulations, TJ Watt. You may never in your career win you a Super Bowl, but you did make the JPL 26 list, and that's enough.
Are you crying?
Yeah, I'm fucking crying. Get out of here, Babs. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Who's the other edge rusher going to be?
From 57, it's blocked. Blocked by Myles Garrett. Wow. And it's taken back all the way by the former Eagle, Rodney McLeod.
Look at how athletic Myles Garrett is. 280 pounds, jumps over the offensive lineman.
Poor Myles Garrett is over there rotting in Cleveland. Meanwhile, he's the most freaky defender in the NFL. I mean, this guy is an absolute alien. As physically gifted as they come, as dominant as they come, you're talking about a grown man among grown men. When you watch him out there and play, just like we talked about TJ Watt, it is impossible not to notice Myles Garrett. He is constantly getting double teamed and triple teamed by the offensive line and running back chips and tight end chips and all these things. And he just throws offensive linemen and running backs and tight ends out of the way like they're babies. He's a grown man amongst men, and there is a absolute reason why he made my list.
I know more than you.
All right.
For offensive coordinators, when they go to play the Browns, they start with this guy. There is no other player that they think about first other than Myles Garrett. There's a complete circle on that side of the football. And then when other teams start going, well, what do you think about when the Browns offense does this? And they go, hold on, we're still talking about Myles Garrett right now. Don't worry about the Browns offense. We're going to spend a little less time on the offense this week. We're going to worry about the Browns defense and this guy, Myles Garrett. So that's how fucking good Myles Garrett is. And that is why he makes the list as the JPL 26 as a defender. So congratulations, Myles Garrett. You might have to fucking play for the Browns, but at least you made the JPL 26 list. Off to the interior defensive lineman. Cam Hayward makes the list for me this year, still producing even at his elder age.
I can't let you in because you're old as fuck.
The fall off should have happened a couple years ago, and Cam Hayward is just telling Father Time to fuck off.
Me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Just a fantastic year for Cam Hayward. He does it year in and year out. The things that he's able to do from the interior defensive line with collapsing the
Today, Junior.
pocket from the inside out, allowing TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith to eat on the outside, because every time the quarterback steps up, they got to deal with this fucking freak show.
Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Name's Randy, but everybody calls him Frankie.
Who's shoving guards and centers into their laps every time he gets a chance. As good a run defender as there is in the NFL, completely sound on all of his gaps, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't try to overcommit and get his numbers in sacks in order to let run lanes open up. Not that kind of a player, just a defensive coordinator's dream.
I have just met you, and I love you.
I would imagine this is probably going to be Cam Hayward's last time that he's going to make this list. I know we were just talking about the fact that he's been pushing off Father Time, but more than that, you're going to have guys now like Jalen Carter, Dexter Lawrence. You still have Chris Jones. These guys are probably going to start taking over as the dominant interior defensive lineman next year because they are absolute freak shows, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about them.
You always need some help.
For now, Cam Hayward, with the season he had, you can't really deny that he still deserves to be at the top of the heap when it comes to the interior defensive line position and what he was able to do this year for the Steelers defense. So that is why Cam Hayward, for me, makes the JPL 26 list. So salute to you, Cam. And who's the other defensive tackle going to be? Chris Jones, of course, we were just talking about him. Still as good as it gets right now, guys. I mean, you just saw it. That's not anything new. That's not an aberration that Chris Jones is able to make the move on that guy. And you know, obviously in that situation, because Lamar Jackson is so good, he's able to dump the ball out to his running back for a minimal gain. But
Erroneous!
He's so dominant that if you don't double team this guy, he's going to fucking rip past your guard. He's going to rip past your center, and he's getting in the backfield. And you want to talk about why the Chiefs defense is so good year in and year out?
Well, look no further, fella. You found me.
Yeah, we can talk about Steve Spagnuolo and how great of a defensive coordinator he is, and certainly that is the case. But when you have a guy on the inside who is able to just completely collapse the pocket as well as he does, and push the guards and the centers right into the lap of the quarterback.
Get in there nice and deep like.
Then he's got the speed and the athleticism to chase down the quarterback. It's not like, oh, I'm going to just get some penetration and now I'm going to force you out of the pocket. No, it's I'm going to get some penetration through this offensive line and then I'm going to come get your ass too because I'm fucking fast.
That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anybody.
And that's the kind of thing that Chris Jones does. And it allows guys like George Karlaftis and Leo Chenal to just use their strength, right? They don't have to sit there and try to spin in and out and do all these crazy...
Fancy Moses.
Speed moves to get around you. They're just going to collapse and pressure with strength and basically look to contain. And then they're going to allow everything else to kind of go off that. And when you have those, you know, this freak show, those strong, they just collapse the pocket on teams. And so Chris Jones, as long as he is with the Chiefs defense will continue to give offenses problems because he is a dominant three technique. And when you have a dominant three technique, it completely changes the dynamic of a defense. So Chris Jones, you are still making my list for the JPL 26 because you are an absolute beast. And I hate to admit that.
Impressive. Very nice.
And guess what, guys? The time has come on defense. It's time for the X position. Who's the X position going to be? Andrew Van Ginkel. Perfect X position player to put in here, guys. He put together a year that, when you look at it, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 6 passes deflected. The guy got in there with some tackles for losses. He got some tackles. He had 11.5 sacks. He's kind of all over the place, right?
fucking come anywhere I want. I'll fucking come on these walls. I'll come on the fucking cabinets, on the fucking furniture. I'll come everywhere.
That's because they're lining him up at edge rusher. They're lining him up in coverage. They're dropping him. They're kind of using him like a Swiss Army knife. And I love that from defenders, because one thing that you can count on in the NFL is that offenses are going to look to exploit based on what they know each player is going to be doing. So if you can disguise a guy and make him do different things and he's able to excel at all of those different things, it's that much more for an offensive coordinator to worry about.
Sure you don't want some coffee?
It's that much more for a quarterback to have to try to process. It's that much more for a chess game for the offensive coordinators and that staff to try to piece together. So he's a very valuable player to me, not just because of the stats and the production that he puts up, but because of what a guy like him allows to hide within your defense. So Andrew Van Ginkel, unbelievable year. I don't think there was a whole lot of people who knew who you were before the year started, and I think that that has certainly changed now, because you were phenomenal all year long, man. So kudos to you. Vikings get bounced, but you were invited into the JPL 26, so congratulations.
What's so funny, Edwards?
Your boy Captain America over here. The best of the best of the best, sir. With honors. He's just really excited, and he has no clue why we're here. That's very funny to me. Y'all ain't laughing, though.
Okay.
Off to the cover linebackers now.
Struggled in the first half, and ETN couldn't hold on to it. Did Bond pick it? Yes, he does! Zach Bond with the interception.
Zach Bond, I mean, you want to talk about Mr. Versatile. Guy started out as a special teamer over there in New Orleans, drafted as like an edge rusher type who can play basically special teams and excel at that. Howie Roseman goes over and gets this guy from New Orleans, brings him in as a linebacker, puts him in the inside linebacker position to the Eagles, and he comes out and has the best season for an inside linebacker this year.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
The best. And it's continued into the playoffs. He hasn't even slowed down in the playoffs. The guy is an absolute wrecking machine. You know, he's talked about the fact that he said he wonders how many other guys out there are at positions in the NFL that they could actually be excelling at other positions and they just don't even realize it. How many other stories are there like that? I tend to agree with him. I think that a lot of times in the NFL, you're a victim of circumstance, team, and all of those different factors that go into it. And that's just kind of a part of the whole thing. But he was given his opportunity and he's done nothing but shine. That whole defense for the Eagles is special. And so that's kind of a part of what makes him able to excel as well as he does. But he's fit in there like a glove and he's done nothing but make plays for this team. He forces fumbles. He covers well. He can blitz the quarterback. He tackles. He reads gaps. There's not much more you could want out of your inside linebacker than a guy like Zach Bond.
You've got to have size, reach, length. You've got to have some attributes.
And I think we're all extremely happy to see a guy like that go from basically completely unknown special teamer up to now being considered one of, if not the best middle linebacker in the NFL. So shout out to you, Zach Bond. You are now a member of the JPL 26.
Stop! We can't take anymore.
Who's the next linebacker going to be?
First down and 10. Munt on the move. Dorisaw blocked. Darnold, it's intercepted. It's picked off by Warner at the 10. He'll get up, and he's got an entourage hurdling, driving, and a turnover for the Vikings.
Still doing it. Fred Warner, year in, year out. Fred Warner does his thing, man. There's not much else you can say about this guy. He's a fucking freak. Shout out to Fred Warner for even though the 49ers taking a tremendous step back defensively, he certainly was not a part of that problem. Just a true pro's pro. The guy can cover. The guy runs sideline to sideline. He gets in the backfield. He wraps up. Diagnoses plays as well as anybody in the NFL. He has a complete nose for the football. He doesn't At least I haven't seen him drop many interceptions. True playmaker, man, and he's been as consistent as it gets from that inside linebacker position. Juxtapose that from Zach Pond, who had a breakout year, completely unknown. This is a guy everybody knows about, and this is a guy that will continue to play at a high level. I would imagine it didn't look like he was slowing down at all this year, so I look forward to Fred Warner coming back next year, and hopefully for him, the 49ers have a better year because they suck this year.
You suck, you jackass. Why don't you shut the hell up?
Now to the cornerbacks.
Play action. Minshew looking, throws intercepted by Surtain. Pat Surtain on the run. Nobody's going to catch him. Surtain going all the way for a Denver touchdown.
Patrick Surtain II. PS2, as some would call him. For me, Patrick Surtain is as good as it gets in the NFL from the cornerback position. Technically sound, plays physical, up on the line of scrimmage, goes after your number one, plays the run game.
Now, I want you to go in that bag and find my wallet.
Which one is it?
It's the one that says bad motherfucker.
Leader, professional. Broncos have a history of having these high-level corners, and he has not been an exception to that. He has lived up to that billing, and probably I would say surpassed his father in terms of talent, which is saying a lot because his father was no slouch. His father was an absolute stud. So the fact that Patrick Surtain has established his own name to this degree is impressive. And as much as I hate seeing the Broncos succeed, you got to give credit where credit is due. And Patrick Surtain, for me, right now in the NFL, is the best cornerback out there.
That is the 4th time this month.
Hello, Wall.
Sorry, everybody makes mistakes. He looks at me.
For me, that's what I think.
I'm not surprised, mother.
Who's the other cornerback going to be?
Motion man, Whitehart, the tight end. Winston steps up. Winston downfield. End zone. On his knees. Intercepted by McDuffie.
Probably public enemy number one on Twitter.
Boo this man!
I don't know why Twitter hates Trent McDuffie so much, but there is a lot of Trent McDuffie hate that goes on out there. Is he the fastest corner in the NFL or the biggest corner in the NFL? No, he is neither one of those things. But he is very twitchy quick. So he's extremely quick, sticky man coverage, gets his nose on the ball, comes up, tackles, plays with physicality.
One.
Willing to go after your best player, willing to guard any receiver in this league one-on-one. Will he get burned at times? Sure. But he wins a lot of those matchups. And for me, that's why I have to include him. Every time I turn on the Chiefs tape, they're isolating this guy in one-on-one man coverage, which you just don't see in today's NFL as often. And he does a great job of holding his own, and he wins a ton of those matchups. So shout out to Trent McDuffie. I hate to say that you're so successful because obviously I hate seeing the Chiefs win as often as they do. But once again, we give credit where credit is due, and Trent McDuffie deserves to be on this list. Oh, and you're also playing in New Orleans next week. That's pretty cool.
I win.
And now off to the safety position.
End zone and intercepted by Kirby Joseph. His 3rd of the year. And that will end that.
That's right. It's Kirby Joseph. And yeah, I know Kirby Joseph runs his mouth a lot. And I know that upsets a lot of people.
I will smash your face into a car windshield and then take your mother, Dorothy Mantooth, out for a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. You understand me? Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
But the guy balled his ass out this year. He really did. He's about as rangy as it comes from the safety position, and that's really what you want. You want a guy back there who's going to be able to kind of play that center field position. And for me, at the DB position, especially at the safety position, part of what's going to give you your value is doing two main things. That's being the safety in a sense, making sure that you don't blow gaps in the run game, because you're supposed to be the guy that kind of like solidifies all those gaps. But also you want guys who take advantage of overthrows.
I want to see what tomorrow brings.
Dang, he at it again. I know.
When you can get guys out there who are special athletically and they have great hands, you can see what happens. That's why this guy ended the year with 9 interceptions, is because he's constantly getting his hands on the football, and when he does get his hands on the football, he doesn't drop it. So Kerby Joseph, special playmaker for the Lions all year long, and did a great job of taking advantage of all the opportunities that were given to him and using his athletic traits at that center field type position that the Lions employ him at.
You're a real hooker, and I'm going to slap you in public.
You have man boobs.
You've got a dirty, whorish mouth. That's what you have. I'm going to punch you in the ovary. That's what I'm going to do. A straight shot.
Ooh, ow.
Right to the baby maker.
Jazz flute is for little fairy boys.
Okay, you know what? That's uncalled for. I can't work with this woman.
And who's the other safety I'm going to go with?
A little bit of a Hoosiers type feel. 3rd and 15. Hurts from the end zone. Intercepted. Taken away by Xavier McKinney. The big offseason acquisition inside the 20.
Yeah, it's the guy that had 8 interceptions right behind Kerby Joseph's 9. It's Xavier McKinney. And I thought Xavier McKinney probably got handed a couple of gift throws. You know, there were a couple of those in there this year, but the reality is, once again, we talk about it. There are guys who are going to take those gift throws and hold on to them, and there are guys who are going to drop the ball.
Normally, if given a choice between doing something and nothing, I'd choose to do nothing. But I will do something if it helps someone else do nothing. I'd work all night if it meant nothing got done.
And if you're a player who can get your hands on the football and take it away and actually hold on to it as a defender, it does a lot for your football team. It really does. It's very valuable. And, you know, a lot of times when you see these dropped interceptions, we don't kill the defenders for that because we're like, well, it was, you know, it could be a little bit of a tough play. They're not offense, you know, it's whatever. So we have to give credit when the guys do make those plays, because it is such a valuable thing to have when you get your defenders to put their hands on the football and take the ball away.
Figure that out on your own, genius.
Yeah, sure did. Figured what out.
Xavier McKinney has to be on this list. When you come up with 8 interceptions throughout the whole year, that is an extremely game-changing thing for your football team. And I wanted to put Derwin James on there, but the truth is Xavier McKinney just turned the ball over so many times for his football team. I mean, it's literally like half the football games. It's hard not to include that on the list. So Xavier McKinney, you make the other safety position, and that is going to round out the defense for the JPL 26 team. Let's get into the special teams.
Boswell drills it straight away and keeps on doing it.
Chris Boswell, year in and year out. You know, I'm not going to get too crazy on the special teams here and go over analytics, but this guy is as good as it gets year in and year out. He continues to prove it. I think he's the best kicker in the league right now. And one of the great things that I love about Chris Boswell is he has no interest in going to a massage parlor. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I know for sure about him. So that's why he's the best kicker in the NFL to me.
His team is up 10, and Dortch back to receive if he has the chance on the Fox spot. Dropped it in on a roll. Good kick. Down inside the 5, and the Lions special teams are there to down it.
Punter is going to be Jack Fox. Jack Fox, if you watch the Lions all year, is exceptional at pinning the teams inside the 10, inside the 20-yard line. Did it all year for the Lions. That is partially why the Lions had such a dominant regular season. He was a big reason why the Lions were able to kind of withstand all those defensive injuries. He was constantly pinning teams inside the 20, inside the 10-yard line. has a huge boot, constantly swings the field in favor of the Lions. So shout out to Jack Fox, unbelievable year. Your team kind of choked in the playoffs, you know what I mean? But hey, you made the list, didn't you?
Line drive to Turpin, and it bounces through his legs. Here he comes. KaVontae Turpin spinning three. Here he goes. Fastest man in the NFL. KaVontae Turpin takes it all the way. Touchdown, Dallas.
KaVontae Turpin had to be my kick returner this year. This guy is lightning in a bottle. I think everybody understands that after watching him play this year.
He's fast. He's really, really fast. I mean, he's so fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
I got it. He's fast.
I think that the Cowboys got to kind of figure out a way to use him on the offensive side of the football more because he is just so explosive and dynamic as a football player. But as a kick returner, I don't think there's anybody better in the NFL than this guy. So congratulations, KaVontae Turpin. You might play for a shitty football team, but you did make the JPL 26 team.
And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Raymond from the 10-yard line. Raymond has one terrific return already today. Looking for a second. Raymond up the sideline, across the 30. Khalif Raymond, goodbye.
And we're going to end things off with Khalif Raymond. Unbelievable year for the Lions, just like many other guys on this list were Lions. We are going to end it with a Lion as well as Khalif Raymond. When you look at the stats and you look at what he was able to do for them this year, he put up fantastic numbers and a fantastic year. He's also a really good football player, and hopefully Lions are going to come back next year and be able to continue the success they had this year in the regular season. So Khalif Raymond, you are going to end things today on the JPL 26 team. You are my last player. Unbelievable year as a punt returner. Not much else to say about that. The guy's really quick. He's really fast. He's good at juking people. You get the idea. There's a lot of Lions on the list as well. So sorry that your season ended the way it did. And, you know, we look forward to seeing you play more next year. But congratulations. You are now a JPL 26 team member. It's pretty exclusive stuff.
What? Were you saying something? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
Some other news to go over as well. Chip Kelly was hired by the Raiders. Of course, Chip Kelly gained prominence with the Oregon Ducks, and now the Raiders have Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, who are now the remaining remnants from the Pac-10 days. Jack Flaherty is back with the Tigers again. He was on the Dodgers to help them win a World Series. Originally a member of the Cardinals, ended up going somewhere else. I can't really recall, but ended up with the Tigers after that. Goes to the Dodgers. Now he's coming back to the Tigers again. So Tigers fans are pretty happy about that. They get an ace starting pitcher. De'Aaron Fox was traded. He joins the Spurs to go with Wemby. So Wemby now has a guy.
I need a fucking assistant!
De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, could be a pretty good combination. Zach LaVine in that same trade. He's heading over to the Kings. So Kings fans are going to be ready to embrace Mr. Zach LaVine. And then, of course, as everybody knows, Luka is now a Laker and Anthony Davis is now a Maverick in a blockbuster trade that almost nobody saw coming. First reported by, I believe, Shams Charania. Charania for your mama. But yeah, Luka is a Laker. Unbelievable stuff. We're going to see how that works out. He is going to play for the Lakers, and LeBron James is now going to spend his final year or two, it would seem, with one of the best players in the NBA as a ball handler. So we're going to see if that changes LeBron's role in these last couple years to be more of an off-ball player and allow him to focus up a little bit more on rebounding, playing defense, transition buckets, maybe take a little bit of the onus off LeBron and allow him to do other things that he does well. So that is the big story out of the NBA. Out of the UFC, we had MVP Michael Venom Page take out Shar Bullet. That was one of the big stories from this last UFC card. Shar looked super tentative, looked like he wanted no parts of MVP in the stand-up. Looked like MVP was doing his kind of normal MVP shit, just controlling the range from the outside, and ultimately just landed the more significant strikes in the fight. So kind of a boring fight overall, but it was built up as Char's kind of that exciting fighter, MVP an exciting fighter. They have explosive knockouts, but sometimes you match those guys up and the fight itself is a little bit boring. That is kind of what happened, but ultimately MVP gets the win. And then you had, of course, Imavov beating Adesanya with a knockout. So first round, Adesanya landing a lot of kicks, a lot of leg kicks, controlling the range. Didn't really let Imavov get off at all. Adesanya was pretty much controlling the fight. Second round comes along, and Adesanya is controlling the range once again in southpaw as Imavov is in orthodox. Adesanya switches to orthodox, and as soon as he makes that switch, overhand right from Imavov comes in and cracks Adesanya on the chin, puts him down. Adesanya tries to get up. Imavov lands a bit more ground and pound, and ref calls it, and the fight is over. So the former champion Adesanya loses again, and now Imavov will climb into the top 2, top 3 fighters in that middleweight division. What's next for Adesanya? I don't know. Hopefully big money fights. I don't really see him challenging for the title anymore, given his age, what it would take to get back up there, and the talent that's coming through at that middleweight division. Seems like it would be a tough path. Imavov obviously is one of those guys that's going to be up there challenging for that title now. So we have Imavov, we have Chimaev, we have Strickland, we have Duplessis. Obviously next week we have UFC Australia. So we look forward to that. That is going to be for that middleweight crown for Dricus Duplessis, holding on to that middleweight crown as of right now, rematching against Sean Strickland. Of course, I personally thought Strickland won the first fight. I thought he outstruck Dricus. I thought he won the match 3 rounds to 2. Judges felt differently. They gave the fight to Dricus, so they will settle the score and find out who the champion is next Saturday. So we look forward to that. I will obviously be doing an episode about that, along with another episode for the Super Bowl that is going to be the Eagles and the Chiefs. So here's a look at the NFL playoffs and how we got here. Obviously, it is going to be the Eagles facing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and we're going to find out who is going to be the champion of the NFL, who is going to be the Super Bowl winners, who is going to be able to talk trash all offseason long to all other fan bases, because ultimately they are the champions. Will it be the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions, who will then be the back-to-back-to-back defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs? Will it be the Philadelphia Eagles with their big signing of Saquon Barkley and Howie Roseman and that dominant defense and that stupid coach that they have that everybody hates? No, I'm kidding with you, but Nick Sirianni, for some reason, gets a lot of hate, and he has a chance to shut the haters up with a Super Bowl win. So we will see how that goes. Before we get out of here, of course, we have got to do our birthday shout out.
Oh man, buy me 40 ounces for my birthday. Today your birthday? What's today?
So what we're going to do here to end the episode is I'm going to give you guys an updated look at the NBA, the NHL, and the English Premier League standings, so we can get an updated look out of that. Obviously, with the NFL season coming to an end after next week, we have got to start focusing on other sports. And I know that that's hard for a lot of us to hear, but we got to do it. We got to start transitioning that. So we got to get warmed up and see where the current standings are and see what's going on over there. You will also see the UFC champions. I will show that slide as well, so we can get a nice fresh update on that. But as everybody knows, before we get to all that, we got to go over the birthday shout out. All right? And the birthday shout out deserves 2 things: a birthday clip and a birthday quote. Roll the clip.
In the game for Vladimir artist, isn't he? I mean, he sees the game in a different way.
That's right, it's the original big Serbian, not Nikola Jokic. Vlade Divac. People don't know that. You thought that Nikola Jokic was the original big bad Serbian in the NBA. Well, I'm here to let you know he's not. All right? Vlade Divac was out here doing stuff before that. And fun fact about Vlade Divac, he was the guy the Lakers traded in exchange for the draft rights for Kobe Bryant. All right? So you learned you something. Vlade Divac was a Laker, and he got traded to the Hornets for Kobe Bryant. And that was on draft night. Suck it. There's some sports knowledge for you. Quote from Vlade Divac, the birthday boy. February 3rd. Wins heal everything. Except herpes. And just to be clear, Vlade Divac did not say the butt herpes part. All right? I said butt herpes. And I didn't mean butt herpes like B-U-T-T herpes. I didn't mean butt herpes. I meant butt herpes. Like not and herpes, but herpes. You know what I mean? But anyway, you guys get it. See you next week.